You ever get that feeling that you're just flying blind when it comes to how your team is really doing? Well, today we're going to talk about a super simple but incredibly powerful tool that can totally change that, the Intranet survey. We're going to show you how to use it to get that honest feedback you're craving, boost engagement, and really drive growth from the inside out.
So let's just jump right to the heart of it, with a question that honestly can make or break a company's success. It sounds simple, right? But the answer is what separates the businesses that are absolutely thriving from the ones that are just, treading water. Do you actually know what your team is thinking and feeling?
Because, let's be real, engaged employees are the engine of your business. I mean, they're the ones who are more productive, more innovative, they deliver better service, period. But if you don't have a clear way for them to give feedback, you're pretty much operating in the dark. And that silence, it's not golden. It's where hidden problems start to fester, quietly draining morale, productivity, and your bottom line.
Okay, so how do you break through all that silence and get the kind of honest, actionable feedback you really need? Well, you don't need to hire some expensive consultants. The answer is probably already right at your fingertips. A well-designed Intranet survey that gives every single person in your organization a powerful voice.
And look, these surveys are so much more than just a simple Q&A. They're like a Swiss Army knife. You can use them to track engagement over time, make employees feel genuinely heard, and even get the insights you need for huge business decisions, like a rebrand or a complete rethink of the customer experience.
Now, one of the most strategic things a survey gives you is the power to benchmark. So what does that actually mean? It means you can compare your results not just between different departments inside your own company, but against what's normal for your whole industry. It's how you go from just feeling like you're doing okay to knowing exactly where you stand and, more importantly, where you need to get better.
And check this out. Without this data, you might think, hey, professional development is doing all right across the company. But this survey shows you there's a specific problem brewing over in the finance team. And that is the huge difference between guessing where the problems are and knowing exactly where to focus your energy for the biggest impact.
Okay, so you get the why. Now, let's get into the how. Because a really effective survey isn't just a random list of questions somebody threw together. No, it's a precision instrument, and it's got to be carefully designed to get you the honest, high-quality feedback you need.
So, what's the first rule of good survey design? Respect your team's time. You want to get rich data, of course, but you can't just overwhelm them with questions. The sweet spot we've found is right around 30 questions. That's usually enough to get some deep, actionable insights without causing that survey fatigue, where people just start clicking anything to get it over with.
Now, this slide is absolutely crucial because the little details here can make a world of difference. Using a 1 to 10 scale gives you so much more nuance than a simple yes or no ever could. And anonymity, that's not a nice to have, it's essential. People will only give you the stone-cold truth if they feel safe. And you've got to avoid those biased questions that kind of nudge people toward a certain answer. Remember, you're here to learn, not to prove you were right all along.
And to avoid getting back just a chaotic mess of data, structure is your best friend. Group your questions into these nice, clean themes. This not only makes the survey feel more logical for the people taking it, but it makes your job of analyzing the results about 1,000 times easier. You'll be able to see right away if a problem is coming from, say, company culture, or if it's really about relationships with managers.
All right, we've gotten to what is, without a doubt, the most critical part of this entire process. Because, gathering data, that's the easy part. It's what you do with it that actually matters. And if you do nothing, you haven't just wasted everyone's time, you might have actually made things worse.
This is so important. Asking for feedback and then just ignoring it, well, it sends a really loud and clear message. We don't actually care what you think. It's one of the fastest ways to crush morale and to guarantee that the next time you ask for their input, all you're going to hear is crickets. Action is what builds trust.
And look, the follow-up doesn't need to be this huge, complicated project. This simple 3-step plan is really all you need. First, just be transparent. Share the results, good and bad. Second, create a real action plan. And third, and this is key, close the loop by constantly letting people know what progress you're making. It shows you're taking them seriously.
So a really great action plan has a good balance of the immediate and the aspirational. Quick wins, like finally buying new mugs for the kitchen, are perfect for building that instant goodwill and showing you're listening. But you also have to commit to those bigger, long-term goals, like that full kitchen renovation, to drive the fundamental changes that really truly matter.
So when you put all of these pieces together,
the smart design and a real commitment to action, you're doing so much more than just running a survey. You're building a continuous cycle of improvement right into the DNA of your company. It just becomes the way you do things.
I mean, Bill Gates said it best, right? Feedback is the engine of growth. It's true for us as people, and it's just as true for our organizations. An intranet survey isn't just a survey, it's a system for harnessing that feedback, for letting your company constantly learn, adapt, and get better.
So here's the big takeaway. The survey itself, that's just the tool. The real goal is to get this powerful feedback loop spinning. It's a cycle that builds trust, that makes every single employee feel like a valued partner. And at the end of the day, it's what fuels the real, meaningful change that helps a business truly thrive.
So we'll leave you with this thought. Building a more engaged, more productive, and more successful company, it doesn't have to start with some massive, complex project. It can start right now with just a single, well-placed question. So think about your team. What's the one thing you really need to ask them?